Welcome to today's episode of Two Pigs in a Pod, a podcast for the people of glazing by the people of glazing. I'm George Lewis, editor at the People in Glazing Society, or more commonly known as PiGs, and I'll be your host. Our guest today is Alyson Westbrook. Nice to see you, Alyson. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much for having me, inviting me.
So we'll just jump straight into it, and for those that don't know who you are, can you give a bit of information about who you are and what you do within our sector?
I do indeed, yeah. I'm Alyson Westbrook. I work at Framexpress in Telford. We are a manufacturer for installers of UPVC products, obviously windows, doors, composite doors, patios, conservatories and the like. I'm very new to the glazing industry, the wonderful world of windows, as I now call it. I'm just learning really. Okay. So the wonderful world of windows and all things fenestration. Okay.
And it's a top question we ask everyone because they all differ. But why did you get into glazing? How have you ended up here today?
Oh gosh, that's an unusual question actually, and a bit of a strange one to answer. I've sort of looking for a bit of a changing career, if you like, and a job role came up with the expansion of Framexpress that both Stuart and Mark, our directors, thought I'd be suitable for, really. So, yeah, they sort of asked me if I'd like to join the business. I was like, I don't know anything about windows and doors, but I'm very willing to learn, and it's there's a lot more to it than meets the eye. Yeah,
so what industry did you come from before?
Prior to that, I've been in the waste industry.
Okay.
So I was actually a nationwide key account manager for a waste management company, essentially, but in the construction industry.
Yeah.
So, we know what builders and the construction people are like, So hopefully some of those skills are very transferable.
Yeah, and you said you didn't really know anything about this industry. Is there anything that actually sprung to mind? We've had people come on here and say, well, it was just a window and door. That's all I really knew. Was that the same for yourself?
Absolutely. I think the only thing that I knew really was that my brother is in the industry. He's a director at Framexpress, one of the directors. And he and Stuart, obviously in the window game for 25 years plus. And they've been doing all right at it, But other than that, I just thought there's something you can see through.
Yeah.
Keeps your house secure is something you can see through. But there's a lot more to it than meets the eye.
How did they sell it to you? Obviously, you've had that sort of knowledge from your brother. But how did they sell it to you to say, actually come along for the ride? It's worth it.
It was almost that, really. They were like, well, we've got this role that we think that you would fit into. Obviously, I've got, I'm an older person now, so I've got some experience with doing different things. I hadn't really done much marketing before, but I was taken on within the business initially to align all of the computer systems. Again, I'm not an IT person. But it's been very much a manual process, really, and basically sort of future-proofing Framexpress, really, and making sure that we continuously improve within the business, So that task has been completed. We've been working closely with Balls to Marketing, reviewing all of our marketing and our marketing strategy moving forward with the times, to be honest. So again, part of my role has been looking at our customers and our lapsed customers for their social platforms. I found when I came into the industry, it's quite archaic in lots of ways. And again, it's going back to quite a lot of things on paper almost. We receive drawings that are almost not quite on the back of a fag packet, but can be very similar, which isn't really helpful for anybody, to get things right, which is obviously what we want to do. But so it's just bringing some of those things all together. But Framexpress, we're wanting to expand, and I think I've just fit into this strange little hole where I'm doing bits of everything, really.
But do you think that's been a good thing that you've come in this role where you're actually learning about all parts of the Framexpress and the wider glazing industry?
Yeah, absolutely, because not knowing anything I think has been an advantage, because I've gone in and I've looked at some of our processes within the business. And I'm asking, well, why? Why'd you do that? Why are we doing that? Well, could we not try do it this way? They're like, because I think sometimes you get set in your ways with processes. I think the industry as a whole, what I've learned from doing, sort of looking at the data, and again, not even knowing anything, so all I've been doing is looking at data and cleansing data. And I think we've reached quite a point where within the industry itself, there are quite a lot of an older generation. You know, we're looking at 50 plus, 60 plus, you know. I've spoken to a couple of chappies, like 70s. We've got one guy, you know, who's still in his 80s and he's still, you know, not running a business, but doing some personal work, you know, and things. So we've got to look at the new generation of people coming through. So although historically the industry wasn't very driven by technology, people, the young people that are coming through within the industry certainly will be. And I think they realise the importance of having a look at social media and that sort of thing really now. So, yeah, it's been eye-opening, I think, for me as well as the business, and sort of pushing that along into the new technology really. And again, not something I know loads about, but just know it's the way forward. And I think within the industry itself.
Yeah, do you think that you not knowing too much about the industry, that you're looking at it from a sort of a perspective where potentially new people coming into the sector are probably going to be the same as you in terms of not knowing that much, so you can actually see it with your eyes that this is what I would see and potentially be enticed into the industry that way?
It is. I've come and I've had the time, really been gifted the time to have a holistic overview of the business and the industry, and looking at it and thinking, well, we need to go a slightly different way. People have got different ideas now, and perhaps not necessarily gone are the days of marketing in the way of putting your ads into, you know, free papers and things like that. That still has its place, you know, certainly has its place for some of our customers, because depending again if they're older people, I'm very much like myself. I want something tangible in my hands. You know, I like to have a look and I like to flick through a brochure rather than look on a screen, you know, on a website. And do you really see the colours correctly and things like that, you know? So, yeah, I think it's benefited the business and also obviously benefiting me. There's just so much to learn. So I'm trying to just do sort of bite-sized pieces, if you like.
Yeah. And have you found that exciting, this industry, like coming from no idea of what it is? Have you found those sort of last couple of years really exciting? Because it is a really good time to be in the industry.
But yeah, because literally the first week that I started, was literally the 25th anniversary celebration for the staff at Framexpress. So I started on a good, because everybody had a day off. You know, we were gifted this day off. I was like, oh, this is amazing.
Yeah.
I wish every week was like this, but not going to be. But then also only a couple of weeks later, I was invited and I went with obviously a number of my colleagues and with Stuart and Mark to the Glazing Summit. And that for me, I actually thought, oh my gosh, yeah, there's more to this than meets the eye. Ali, you know, and some of the debates there were very insightful and a huge learning curve for me, absolutely. But it just made me ask more questions. You know, I didn't know what a U-value was. Well, I wouldn't need to know what it, you know, why would I need to know that? But I'm sort of quite logical in my thought process, you know, and you're sort of looking at things and some of the debates then, because of my logical thought process, you know, again, just questions, and that's why the debates were good, because I'd be thinking, I'd ask that question, I'd ask that too.
Okay. And you spoke about the Glazing Summit, and there's obviously the Fit Show and things like that, and also PiGs.
PiGs, absolutely.
How important has that been for you as a newbie to the industry to actually get to know people within the industry?
So, well, very much so. I mean, I personally haven't yet been to the events, but I will be going. Now I know a little bit more, I think I'd be a bit more comfortable about having conversations with people. Mark and Stuart, they go regularly to all of the events, essentially, and a number of my colleagues as well within the sales team. So I think PiGs in itself, I mean, gosh, the marketing employee, you know, people, I was like, what is PiGs? There was people in glazing, you know, so yeah, very beneficial to the whole industry, you know, and it gives people an opportunity to talk, doesn't it? and to find out more about overall what's happening within the marketplace, and making sure that we're a place where we can help each other really and share ideas, I think.
Yeah, and you said obviously about how it looks in general in the industry. What have you heard from speaking to people and from Framexpress in general? Like, how does the sector look to you?
Well, I was going to say, last year, I mean, we had our best year ever in business, so that was great, and I think that was very different to a lot of companies. I understand that the industry was down last year, probably around about 15%, and we as a business, we were up about 17%, so we had a great year. We've obviously got to keep that momentum going. The first quarter of the year, and again, I think broadly across the industry, it's a little bit slower. I know from what I've learned that it is expected, the beginning part of the year, you know, and I suppose as well when we're dealing with larger sort of the corporate businesses that are dealing perhaps with social housing or anything like that, they're looking at their budgets, aren't they? You know, we're waiting obviously for the 1st of April for more budgets, etc. So for ourselves at Framexpress, it's still been steady. We've still been doing well. We're still busy. We're still bringing new customers on board. So I think moving forward into the new year, well, the second quarter, I'm hoping, and I'm sure it will, that obviously there's so many new builds going on that the industry and everybody within that will see an upturn, I think.
Okay, great. And we'll start to move on about your second job, I guess it is, and it's joining our very own Sarah and a team of people from the industry that are climbing Kilimanjaro. So how do you feel about that?
Excited, scared. Sometimes I'm like, oh my gosh, what am I doing? Mostly excited and thinking, right, I've got to get this done now. And I've started to tell a few people. This obviously will be going out. It'll be a bit more of my announcement to say, surprise, this is what's happening. But it feels really good, and I feel quite honoured and privileged to have been asked to join, to be honest, because I'm very new to the industry.
And for those that don't know what you're doing and what your colleagues are doing, what are you doing? You're climbing Kilimanjaro, but who are you doing it for?
Right, I'm part of a group with obviously Sarah, Chief Pig, leading the way, along with Sherry with our lovely heroes, and we are all doing it to raise money, initially for Kelly's Heroes, because that is a charity that I certainly feel an affiliation with. I've unfortunately experienced and been through the loss of a partner who took his own life. So to raise awareness around suicide prevention and mental health, I think is very, it's a responsibility of not only employers, but supported with PiGs, and then supported by a charity like Kelly's Heroes. Without those people, some people may not be here, so I think we've got to raise that awareness. I also am doing it for a second charity. I'm doing it for our local hospice, Severn Hospice. They have units in Shrewsbury and Wellington. I myself, again, was unfortunately, I've had their services, their comfort, their great support. My partner passed away last year after a long battle with cancer. The hospice was amazing. So this year I'm on a mission to raise as much money as I can for Severn Hospice. They do a wonderful, wonderful job. So yes, I will be doing dual sponsorship for both causes that are very, very significant and very close to my heart. So I want to be rallying around and getting as much money as possible to get me up that mountain.
Yeah, and I hope we can obviously help it. Yeah, it's amazing that, one, you're doing it, but obviously for things that's actually happened within, you're sort of the example of why we need people like Kelly's Heroes, and it's just amazing. So
that's it, the support of these charities, the good work that they do. They are charities, they need our funding, so we've got to help them as best we can, and having experienced, excuse me, firsthand, yeah, I want to do all I can. I want to get up that mountain, get that flag up. I've got both flags up, get some pictures, prove to everybody we've done it, get the whole group up there and raise as much money as we possibly can with this fundraising over the next 6 months.
Yeah. And obviously it's no mean feat to just climb Kilimanjaro. What training are you currently doing, and what will you be doing on the lead up to the climb?
Yeah, well, I was only sort of asked just over a month ago, so I was a bit like, oh my God, it's not very long to start getting the training. So I literally, Sarah asked me on the Wednesday. Thursday morning, I went with my best friend, Lou, to a boot camp. She's been asking me to go for years. I haven't gone. You've got to be there at 6 o'clock in the morning. You know, I was like, it's not for me. But I go now. I go on a Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I love it. Paddy, the trainer there, I'm going to have him as my PT 1-to-1. That starts next week. He's got a shoulder injury, so but he did say it's going to be leg day and it's going to hurt. I also, through my sort of grief process, if you like, I got a dog. So I've got a Siberian Husky who obviously likes long walks.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've been doing lots of long walks. I will be doing more every weekend now as well. I'll be looking to do longer walks, back to back, essentially, longer hill walks, especially, to strengthen my lungs, try and get myself as fit as I possibly can be within this fairly short period of time. We're also going on, unfortunately, it wasn't last Saturday, it was the Saturday before, some of our team actually went up Snowdon. And they had some awful weather, they braved the elements. I didn't go on that, unfortunately, but I was actually on a hill walk raising money for Severn Hospice over at doing the Ponsonby Potter. We've also got lined up part of our training. We're going to go and do Scafell Pike. And then we're also going to do the Yorkshire Three Peaks over 2 days. Again, hopefully as a group, getting many of us to get to know each other. So we'll be spending the whole week very closely together with each other.
Yeah, you'll learn a lot about each other.
We will.
And what do you think you're most looking forward to when you actually start the climb? What is it? Is there one thing that you think is going to be more amazing than anything else?
No, for me, there are a number of factors. I think the camaraderie, because I want, it's the team, it's a team event. I want, because I think from what I've learned and heard, I know people who have personally gone up Kilimanjaro. My partner Gary did it with his brother, who's actually registered blind. And it's no mean feat, it's not a walk in the park. But I think that we can all do it together, and there'll be highs and lows, people at different times, so we've all got to help each other. So I'm looking forward to that, hopefully chivying on some people, and hopefully when I'm flagging, them doing the same to me and to get me up that mountain, I'm looking forward to the wildlife, for me, I just love being outdoors, I love being in nature, and the scenery. I've seen it on videos, I've seen it on photographs.
It's not going to compare, is it, to seeing it?
No, and it's the closest to heaven you'll ever get, apart from actually when you do go. Yeah. I think for me that, and getting to the top, and you just that, the elation that I've been told that you feel once you get, because summit day is the toughest day. It's the longest day, it's the toughest day. Getting up there, brilliant. But then we've also been having a discussion about getting down, because, you've got 6 days of going up. You go up, you go down, because obviously we've got to hike high, camp low because of the altitude. And again, that's a huge factor. And that's something we can't really train for. We haven't got that luxury. There are some universities, I think, that we could perhaps go to and do some of that training, but I think it's just making your lungs as strong as possible. But yeah, it's all very exciting.
Yeah, it sounds amazing. And do you think it's given you the itch to do these sort of fundraisers more regularly after Kilimanjaro, or you think, I need a break after Kilimanjaro?
Yeah, well, I've been doing some fundraising over the last year. Nothing like this, a good old-fashioned pub quiz, and perhaps like some other sponsorship and the like. But yeah, I think because of what I've experienced in my life, I think that giving back is very important. Supporting the charities that need supporting. And there are many charities out there. Of course, they all need supporting. But I think to support charities that are close to your heart and that have helped you personally is what I want to do. So yeah, I'll definitely be up. I'm saying that now. Ask me when I've got down.
You're on camera, so...
Ask me when I'm down, Yeah, I think I will do. So my partner was a massive adventurer. And I'm sure, I feel like this has been orchestrated, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
I really, really do, to help me, get me out of the house, get me outside in nature, doing what I love, and setting me a challenge, which, yeah, I don't like to back down from challenges.
No.
So
Nice. I think that's a nice way to end the main part of the podcast. So thank you for the answers. We're going to move on to a bit of a quick fire question round. It's just very simple questions. We just want to find out what makes Alyson tick, rather than sort of find out about you a bit more. So the first question I'll ask is, do you prefer talking over email or by phone?
Phone, definitely. Emails, texts can be misconstrued. Just pick up the phone.
What's your favourite day of the week?
I'm going to say, I think, and it always has been, Sundays. Yeah. I love a Sunday.
No. What's your go-to karaoke song?
Oh my gosh. Oh, I've got a few. But I'm going to go for, this could be controversial, probably very poignant actually. I Will Survive. It's a classic, No.
No. What's your favourite thing to do outside of work? Is obviously, I'm sure it's few and far between of your pastimes at the moment with the training, but what else do you like to do?
Being outside in nature, honestly, I've always walked anyway. Having my dog, little frisbee, big frisbee, has helped me massively. Being out in nature and cycling. I do like cycling, so I've got to do some of that to get the legs stronger as well, to get up that mountain.
And what's the first gig you ever attended?
Oh my gosh, that was, oh God, I remember it now. July the 4th at Alton Towers in 1994, I believe. James.
Okay, that's a good one. Yeah, we've had some good ones and some not so good ones.
Yeah,
so, James is pretty cool one.
It was good.
And lastly, just to move it back to the industry as a whole, in a year's time, if we sat here, do you think it will be in a better position, a worse position, or about the same?
I think it will be about the same, if I'm brutally honest. I think it'd be a tough year, but I think some of the new bills are slowing down, I think, at the moment. But I'd like to say about the same, definitely, across the industry. I think everybody in the industry is doing good things. I think we'll be there.
Okay, nice. And as our last sort of for all guests coming on, we like to let them give a shout out to anyone it may be. It may be friends, family, colleagues, whoever it may be. So if you look into that camera and say who you want to shout out. Yeah,
okay. I'd like to give a shout out to Mark Westbrook and Stuart Green at Framexpress. Thank you very much for supporting me and supporting Kelly's Heroes and Severn Hospice, and enabling me to get up and start this challenge at Kilimanjaro. I'd like to thank my mom and my big brother, my sister, just for everything. Lou, my best friend. Without her, sorry, I might stop crying. Without her support over the last couple of years, things, it's just been amazing. And all my family and friends, they've done amazing things. I need just continued support to give me some money and just be kind.
Nice. I think that's a good way to end it. Again, thanks, Alyson, for joining us today. I really enjoyed hearing some of your answers and really honest answers. So that's it for today. I hope you can join us for another episode soon. You can find this episode and all other previous episodes on our YouTube channel, wherever you get your podcasts from, and on our website, www.peopleinglazing.co.uk. And whilst you're there, you can also find out when the next PiGs networking event is, read the latest people news from our sector, plus lots more. And don't forget to sign up to our bi-weekly newsletter, aptly named Style News, straight to your inbox there as well. Goodbye and see you again soon.